Avery, and also our leader over here, Senator Steve Gooch, for being here as well. You know, we're going to have many initiatives when it comes January for the upcoming session, but one of them that I think is going to be a priority of ours, and I think it's very important, is not just as legislators but also as parents of teenage children. All of us have kids that are growing up in this society right now, and we're all very proud of what they're doing. But we are also concerned about things outside our control, the confines of our home that could be problematic, and that's why we're going to really focus on looking at legislation pertaining to social media. You know, I always tell people, you know, one of the greatest things ever invented was the internet, and also social platforms that followed have been puts us in touch and gives you instantaneous information, which can be a wonderful, wonderful tool. But it also, in the wrong hands, can be a very dangerous tool. It can be one that can cause a lot of harm, almost as an invisible enemy of yours. And you have so many bad actors right now who are targeting our children. And you're seeing it in mental health situations, as well as cyberbullying that's going on around the country right now. And we're wanting to take that head on. We want to take that initiative head on. You're going to always have to be trying to adapt with what's going on in society. And we feel like making this a priority, just like we've done with other things pertaining to children here in the great state of Georgia. We want to be at the forefront of protecting them, and the legislation that we're putting forward this session, that our Senator Avatari is going to be carrying for us, does just that. And we're going to model this after other states. There's plenty of other states that have pioneered this a program to try to address a lot of these issues. There's some that have gotten it wrong, and they're in litigation right now, but there's others that have done very well with it, and that's who we're going to be focused on this upcoming session. And I think it's important enough to have a press conference about something like this, because if we can't, as legislators, as parents, if we can't protect the ones we love the most and the future of our society, then, you know, we're in the wrong business as public servants, and they need to be first and foremost. So I want to yield the podium to our leader here and our author of the bill, Jason Avatari.
Thank you. I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for his leadership on this issue. I think right now in society, we have a lot of issues going on in terms of cyberbullying and dealing with social media content across Georgia and across the country, especially with our younger kids. So I have 3 kids in elementary all the way up to high school. I have a wife that's a high school teacher, and I'll tell you, this is always the number one issue that she comes home to me about every single day. So I think it's important that we empower parents. I think a lot of parents don't know how to, restrict content sometimes, even though they're doing their best, checking devices and seeing who's texting who and who's on Instagram. But the problem kind of, gets really prevalent when we get into the classroom and we have students that are on their phones and on their laptops, a little bit, distracted, but at the same time looking at content maybe that is not helpful to them and their family. So this legislation, when we introduce it, is going to be modeled after some similar states like Louisiana. There are some bad examples out there that we won't be copying, because we do want to be sensitive to the First Amendment protection for citizens across this state. We're not going to be regulating screen time. We're not going to be regulating those types of things. I think that is up to the parent or guardian of each child in the state of Georgia. But at the end of the day, when it comes to cyberbullying and empowering parents, our school leaders, our teachers who are, kind of handcuffed with what's going on with social media in their classroom while they're teaching, we want to make sure that people have the resources, they're educated, but we're also making a stand here in Georgia that, something's got to change as the world evolves, whether it's with technology, AI, whatever you want to call it, as we kind of, continue our leading here in Georgia. So I want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for making this one of his priorities for the upcoming session, and appreciate it.
Thank you. And the Senator mentioned that one of the key points that I left out there is that this is a this is a mission that we're going to be partnering with our school systems, partnering with our parents on, because our teachers and administrators they're on the front lines when it comes to this issue, and they're going to need the necessary resources to help prevent, combat, and also monitor these things moving forward. So I'm happy to take any questions. Yeah, I think we had a list of questions. Or you do? Okay, yes, ma'am. Our plan is to reach out to them and actually partner with the likes of Google and look at, Microsoft. So we are going to partner with them as we're crafting the legislation, finalizing it, to look for ideas, on what's the best practices and things of that nature. So that's a very good question. It's something that we're going to be doing. School districts, obviously, yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll be partnering with, talking to superintendents and asking about what kind of resources, and it is actually what they're seeing on the ground inside the walls of their respective school system. So, yeah, we want to have their involvement as well. So, yes, sir.
Safe to say this is a legislation kind of in development, or do you have specific things that you want to put in that's going to be this?
Yeah, you can answer.
Yeah, so I think right now it's in development, but I think there are some tenets, and I think in terms of the bill that we do believe should be in it, such as age verification. I think we want to make sure that we're touching on those decision points where parents can be engaged as they look at content or about to look at content. And again, we're focused on minors. We're focusing folks kind of in a K-12 age bracket, so under 18, under 19. And, once you kind of graduate out of that age, then the rules don't apply. But I think just empowering parents to know what's going on in their kids' life every single day, keep them safe from predators.
One last question.
So could there be perhaps consequences for school districts if a parent reports cyberbullying, and would they be required to take some kind of action?
I mean, there's going to be teeth within the legislation in and of itself. That's not going to be limited to a school district. It's going to be, but there is going to be, it's going to have teeth in it where the people perpetrating these things will be. We're going to try to hold them accountable for it. Wrong.
Can we all go off topic then? Is there a law enforcement portion to this, and does law enforcement in the schools have to ban the cameras?
Well, yeah, that's why we're going to engage our local superintendents to look at what kind of resources they would need when we finalize this and try to implement it on a broader scale. So that'll be part of the discussion as well.
Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to send out a press release after this, and then if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to me. My contact information is on there.
All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it.